Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to the Mixer. And in case you guys missed it, I've been playing a lot of FIFA on my channel lately, a lot of soccer slash football, and it's only a matter of time before I started doing content related to that sport, talking about famous athletes, players that went through it, and had a lot of really interesting passages through the history of it, But anyway, for this video, I'm going to be talking about a specific player who I actually have a Real Madrid jersey, which represents a really good part of his career. I would have worn it, but it's really hot today, guys. It is hot. It's really freaking hot, and that shirt makes me sweat. Like I have it on for 5 minutes and I sweat like a freaking, I don't know. It's old. It's very big on me, But anyway, today I'm going to be talking about Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima, also known as just, Ronaldo. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that guy at this point, Not Cristiano Ronaldo or Ronaldinho, but the original Ronaldo, The big fella, literally. Today he's put on a couple of pounds, but he's a pretty big fella, But anyway, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about him because he is who I consider to be one of, if not the best players of all time. Yes, I know that Pele is considered to be the king of football, but let me explain why I would even put Ronaldo in a better Panama than him, if that's even the word. Now here's the thing, guys. I didn't see Pele play. My father did, my grandfather, my uncles, these guys all saw Pele play ball, but I did not. So Ronaldo was the best player who I had seen up until then, He is pretty much the Pele of my generation, if that makes any sense, So to this entire day, I'm 28 years old. I was born in 92. So since then, every single player who I have seen, to me, Ronaldo has always been the best, Even better than Cristiano Ronaldo and even better than Lionel Messi. That's just my opinion, because Ronaldo, he pretty much he turned the position that he played in, the central striker, on its hind. He turned it upside down, He completely reinvented the position because he would be scoring so many freaking crazy goals, It's like he brought a new dimension to the whole thing, Like nobody before Ronaldo had done what he had done, He was just in a whole different category. He was his own thing. Now, the thing with Ronaldo is that he, at the very beginning of his career, he started off playing for Cruzeiro here in Brazil, then eventually he moved to PSV in Holland, and then he went to Barcelona, which is where he actually started to become the Ronaldo that we know in a few years later. And that's where he won his first FIFA Ballon d'Or, where he actually won 3 in his career. But back then it was different. It was the Ballon d'Or, but also it was the FIFA World Player of the Year. It was 2 different awards. It was really freaking confusing. When they finally merged them together some time ago, but then for some reason they separated them again. It's really freaking confusing. But anyway, he did win 3. He was elected the world's best player 3 times. That's the way that we would look at it. And then from Barcelona onwards, he started to become much more dexterous, much more talented, and he started to flourish a lot more. Then he went to Inter Milan, a few years later, and he spent, I do believe, how many years was it again? I have a little cheat sheet here. He spent 5 years there, before moving to Real Madrid. And throughout his career, he actually won the FIFA World Cup twice, although the first time was in '94. He was kind of he was a substitute. He didn't really come in and do anything, but he still won. It still counts. In '98, that was when the tragedy struck, because he actually participated. He scored a few goals. We got to the final, but unfortunately, he suffered a convulsive fit right before the final, the last match, and then unfortunately, we lost 3-0 to France, So it was pretty complicated. There's a very complex story there. But I mean, hey, it just wasn't meant to be that year.
No és fàcil la feina de l'àrbitre assistent. Però vaja, el percentatge és alt. Atenció al que acaba de fer Ronaldo. Encara Ronaldo, l'espera Giovanni, encara Ronaldo a l'interior de la gran. Gol, 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 gol.
However, in 2002, and this was 2 years after recovering from a very fatal knee injury, that put him out of the season for a couple of years, he was called up for the 2002 FIFA World Cup in Japan and Korea, and that's when we saw Ronaldo in his best. I do believe that 2002 was when Ronaldo was at his peak, because, I mean, you can win club titles, with any club on any level as much as you want, but let's be honest here, it's really about the international level when it comes to this sport, man. If you win a FIFA World Cup, that's already worth more than 10 Champions Leagues, Okay, maybe not so much. I probably exaggerated just a little bit there, but it is still the most coveted title that any athlete in this sport can achieve, And when he won in 2002, being one of the primary protagonists, so he scored a lot of goals along with his buddy Rivaldo. So he scored a goal in pretty much every single game, and he also scored 2 in the final, and Brazil finally took home our 5th world title. And then He was, of course, elected the player of the tournament, you know, and he, in 2006, became the highest goal scorer in the World Cup, you know, in the history of the World Cup with 15 goals, which was unfortunately broken in 2014 by Miroslav Klose in Germany. But still, it was a very impressive record that he kept, you know, for a very long time. He fell from grace after the 2006 World Cup, you know. By that point, he was already playing Real Madrid, his 5-year stint there, but he was starting to put on a little bit more weight, you know, so he wasn't as fast as he used to be. He was still Ronaldo, but and it wasn't because he was eating a bunch of hamburgers or pizza or anything. It was just because he has this, I forgot what it was called, this chronic disease or something that actually makes him, what the hell, man? What's up with the noise pollution all of a sudden? Like in both sides. But anyway, really? Okay, so I closed the window in an attempt to drown out the noise, and it looks like the car that was playing the loud music drove a little further away. But anyway, so let's get back to Ronaldo, okay? So now here's the thing. He had this disease. I'm not going to try to look it up here because it's going to be too much work, but it's like some kind of hereditary disease that makes him gain weight very, very quickly. I know because I have an aunt who suffers from this, you know, so like no matter what he did, you know, even if he tried to keep the weight down, it would still just come back, and it would make him get more and more overweight until it got to the point where he couldn't even run properly anymore. And unfortunately, his career ended in Milan. You know, he actually suffered another injury. This one was really serious as well. Then he came back to Brazil and just faded away, you know, trained at Flamengo, played in Corinthians, you know. But anyway, Ronaldo is a very impressive figure, you know. I think he's actually he was really good at what he did, guys. And it's not like he was Ronaldinho, where he like intentionally wanted to go party or something, you know, and didn't really care too much about the sport he was playing. Ronaldo, he tried. You can tell that he was really trying. But at one point, it just got harder, you know, because he himself said before he retired that my mind still wanted to play, but my body didn't, you know. Like I would want to do something with the ball, but my body wouldn't respond. It would be slow, you know, which is normal. It's completely understandable when you gain a little bit of weight that your body, you're not going to have the same motor skills as before, you know. Now, Ronaldo was actually a very impressive specimen in his prime because he was really fast, you know. I don't know if a lot of players today could match him, you know. Maybe there are some that are even faster. You could say Lionel Messi is pretty quick, you know, but I still think that Ronaldo in his prime was pretty much unmatched, man. It was really hard to match this guy because he would like blaze forward, you know. He would get through 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders and get past the keeper and score the goal. This guy was wicked fast, you know. Me using an English football term, wicked. He was really freaking fast, you know. And some of his statistics, he won 2 FIFA World Cups, but also in a total of let me take a look here. You guys are okay. So in a total of 616 appearances for both club and country, he scored a grand total of 414 goals. Okay, so across all of his clubs that he played there, you know, and for the Brazil national team, and a total of 62 goals just for the Brazil national team, you know. So.
La punta per la corsa di Giorgio, filtrante, Ronny, salta Paganini, Ronny! E che gol! Inter in terzo gol! La genialità di Ronaldo che riceve una palla, fa un numero da mal di...
So like I was saying, guys, you know, now you might think that 414 goals might be a bit shabby, you know, and by today's standards for a central striker, it actually kind of is, you know. I mean, it would be pretty good if a midfielder scored that many goals. It would actually be a miracle if a midfielder today ended his career with over 400 goals. But you gotta, like, guys, it was back in the 90s, you know, early 2000s onwards, so soccer or football was a different sport, you know. It was a little bit harder to score goals, you know. Not to say that today it's easy, it's just not as hard as before, you know, because back then the defenders would really rattle you, man. Those guys would really shake you down to your core, and like they would brutally foul you. We saw Pele as a really good example back in the World Cup in the 60s. No, that's way too far back, but the sport was still already pretty brutal back in the 90s, you know, and it started to become a little less so, you know, from like maybe you could say 2007, 8, or 9 onwards. You know, it was a little bit different, but Ronaldo played it in a time when the defenders were on you like magnets, you know. It was really hard to score goals, so that's why he has so few of them, you know. And remember, he actually started to fade away very quickly, you know. He started to deteriorate and score less and less goals as he got older and he started putting up a little bit more weight. So it's not like Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo who are still scoring a lot of goals today, you know. And now actually both of those players have already surpassed Ronaldo, you know, by a long shot. So, I mean, but I still think it's impressive what Ronaldo did, you know. I still think it was really cool because, well, it's Ronaldo, you know, and he's the best player that I ever saw play because I actually saw him play live, you know. So, like, I remember when I was a kid, it was in the early to mid 90s, you know, and I was actually starting to watch a little bit of the sport, and I used to ask my dad whenever there was a game, right? I was like, hey dad, which one is Ronaldinho? Because back then he was actually called Ronaldinho, you know, before the one, the darker one with the buck teeth and the long hair. But the original Ronaldo was actually called Ronaldinho back then, you know. So then I was like, hey, which one is it, Dad? You know, and he said that one right there, son, with the yellow cleats, the yellow shoes, you know, with the bald guy. And he was just like not as big of a national hero as Ayrton Senna, who I talked about in my previous video, but Ronaldo was still pretty revered around this country, man. It was really cool. He was a really good fellow, you know, in what he did. There were a few controversies, you know, the whole getting with some transvestites over in France, you know, there was some weird stuff also going on, and he did make a few controversial statements at one point when there was going to be a World Cup here in Brazil back in 2014. He famously said, or infamously said, you know, whenever people were protesting about so much money being invested in the stadiums instead of hospitals and schools, he said, well, you can't have World Cups with hospitals, that's not how you do World Cups, you know. So it was complicated, you know. It actually made me lose quite a bit of respect for him at that moment, you know. But still, as a player, as an athlete, I really can't complain, you know. I actually saw him play live, not in person in a stadium, but I actually saw it on TV, Fluminense and Corinthians in 2009, where he actually scored, I do believe it was 3 goals. He scored a hat trick and we lost 4-2, but it was Ronaldo, man. How can you get mad at Ronaldo, you know? And then he also managed to, he scored a really amazing goal from long distance outside of the box, you know. Same thing when I saw Ronaldinho play against Fluminense. It's like he actually played for Fluminense too at one point. It was really cool. You can't get mad at these guys, you know. You really can't. It's just, it's awesome, man, you know. And I was gonna give you guys a few more tidbits of info here, but I kind of already talked a lot about him, you know. I don't even know what else I was gonna say, but I just think that Ronaldo, I don't know, man, he was inducted to the FIFA Hall of Fame so many times, you know. He won so many different titles, some of which I'm not even gonna say here because it's just gonna get way too long, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say, you know. I mean, I thought I was gonna need the cheat sheet much more, but I really did not, you know. Besides, you guys can go and research him more and watch some videos if you want to, you know. I left a few clips here in the video. I always do when I talk about this kind of thing. So, you know, speaking of clips, here's another one right now.
Buscando a Ronaldo. Ahí aparece el brasileño. La verdad es que no le llega ni un solo. Ahí juega Ronaldo. Ronaldo con Julio César.
Es un jugador que es capaz de jugar bien. Cuidado.
Qué bien Ronaldo. Qué bien en la acción individual Ronaldo.
Now, the thing with Ronaldo is that he was really ahead of his time, you know. He made the sport that he played look very easy. It was like Michael Jordan, you know, with the Chicago Bulls. They were actually active at around the same time. That was really nice. But I really do think that Ronaldo made it look incredibly easy, you know, like such that he inspired me to want to be an athlete myself, you know, back when I was younger. I also wanted to be a soccer or a football player. It's a dream that I had to give up on very quickly because I wasn't good. It's a very embarrassing story, but probably for another video for another day, you know. But still, I think it was awesome. Ronaldo really left his legacy in the sport. Unfortunately, he didn't do what Pelé did. Pelé waited until he was at his peak, his highest, to retire so people could remember him more and longer. But Ronaldo did not do that. He actually he kept going. He kept insisting. He kept pushing his body until he just literally physically couldn't anymore. And so he retired, you know, kind of fading away, you know, and from the public eye. And he actually played a farewell match with the Brazil national team wearing his traditional number 9 jersey, but it was hilarious because the guy was so fat. You could see his stomach, like it was like he had a soccer ball, you know, in his stomach, you know, under his shirt, you know. He was really out of it, man. He could have scored a few goals, but the damn goalkeeper didn't want to collaborate, you know. So yeah, but he tried, you know. It was really nice just seeing him wearing the uniform again. It was interesting. And Ronaldo, to me, will go down in history as one of, if not the best player that I at least have ever seen, you know. His speed, agility, dribbling skills, man, everything, you know. His goal scoring, it was just amazing, you know. There are a few things here that maybe I can you know, look at this. He was a prolific goal scorer. you know. Oh, by the way, his name was O Fenomeno, which translates to the phenomenon, the title of this video, because he was just so phenomenal in what he did, you know. Nobody could play like him, you know. He was a prolific goal scorer, and despite being more of an individualistic attacker, he was also capable of providing assists for his teammates due to his vision, passing, and crossing ability, you know. He was an extremely powerful, fast, and technical player with excellent movement, as well as being a composed finisher. You know, oh, he was actually, he could kick with both feet, by the way. You know, he had a lot of technical ability. He could kick with his right or his left foot, you know, so although he was naturally right-footed. So yeah, and just a few things that I wanted to read for you guys here just to add a little bit to the info that I already gave. So I would love to, if you guys actually enjoyed this sport, I would love to have your opinions in the comments below, telling me what you think about Ronaldo and who you consider to be the best player who you have ever seen. Like, the best player of all time will always be Pele. That's not an opinion, that's just a given fact. But the best player that I have ever seen is Ronaldo. So I want to know what you guys think and what your best players are as well. And also stick around, because I'm going to be doing some more FIFA gameplays. I'm going to be coming out with some more games for you guys, you know. If you happen to like this video, subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be doing more soccer or football related content in the next few vlogs, but also other stuff too, in case you're not a big fan. And also hit the notification bell to know exactly when I'm going to be uploading a video, because sometimes I upload one, sometimes I upload two, you never know, and at random times of the day, so it's better to hit that bell so you can know exactly when they're going to be coming out, okay? So that's it, guys. This is Chazzy, signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.